You don't know about me without you have read a book by the name of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. But that ain't no matter. That book was made by Mr. Mark Twain, and he told the truth, mainly. Now, the way the book winds up is this. Tom and me found the money that the robbers hid in the cave, and it made us rich. We got $6,000 apiece, all gold. It was an awful sight of money when it was all piled up. The widow Douglas, she took me for her son and allowed she would civilize me. But it was rough living in the house all the time, considering how dismal, regular, and decent the widow was. And so when I couldn't stand it no longer, I lit out, and I was free and satisfied. But Tom Sawyer, he hunted me up and said he was going to start a band of robbers, and I might join if I would go back to the widow and be respectable. So I went back. Vulgar, rough, coarse. These were terms critics used to describe what would eventually become the iconic classic when it was first published in 1885. But the literary merit of this story has surpassed time, and one of the greatest characters ever penned continues to capture our hearts and rouse our spirits, because somewhere deep inside each of us is a longing for adventure. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. The widow, she cried over me and called me a poor lost lamb, and she called me a lot of other names too, but she never meant no harm by it. She put me in them new clothes again, and I couldn't do nothing but sweat and feel all cramped. After supper, she got a book and learned me about Moses, and I was in a sweat to find all about him. But by and by, she let it out that Moses had been dead a considerable long time. So then I didn't care no more about him, because I don't take no stock in dead people. Her sister, Mrs. Watson, a tolerable slim old maid with goggles on, had just come to live with her, and would say, "Don't put your feet up there, Huckleberry," and "Don't scrunch up like that, Huckleberry. Sit up straight. Why don't you try to behave?" Then she told all about the bad place, and I said I wished I was there. She got mad then. She said it was wicked to say what I said, and she wouldn't say it for the whole world. She was going to live to go to the good place. Well, I couldn't see no advantage in going where she was going, so I made up my mind. I wouldn't try for it. I asked her if she reckoned Tom Sawyer would go there, and she said not by a considerable sight. I was glad about that, because I wanted him and me to be together. But by the by, everybody was off to bed. I went straight up to my room. I sat down. Pretty soon I heard a twig snap. Something was stirring. I sat still and listened. Directly I could just hear, meow, 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 and scrambled out of my window onto the shed. Then I slipped down to the ground, and sure enough, there was Tom Sawyer waiting for me. We went tiptoeing towards the end of the widow's garden. We went down the hill and found Joe Harper and Ben Rogers and 2 or 3 more of the boys. We went to a clump of bushes, and Tom made everybody swear to keep the secret. Now, we'll start this band of robbers and call it Tom Sawyer's Gang. Everybody that wants to join has got to take an oath and write his name in blood. Everybody was willing, so Tom got out a sheet of paper that he had wrote the oath on and read it. It swore every boy to stick to the band and never tell any of the secrets. And if anybody done anything to any boy in the band, whichever boy was ordered to kill that person and his family must do it. He mustn't eat and he mustn't sleep till he had them killed and hacked crosses in their breasts, which was the sign of the band. Some thought it was a good idea to kill the families of the boys that told the secrets. Then Ben Rogers says, "Here's Huck Finn. He ain't got no family. What are you going to do about him?" They talked it over, and they was going to rule me out because they said every boy must have a family or somebody to kill, or else it wouldn't be fair and square for the others. I thought of a way, so I offered them Miss Watson. They could kill her. "Now," says Ben Rogers, "what's the line of business of this gang?" "Nothing, only robbery and murder," said Tom. "But who are we going to rob?" houses or cattle or stuff. Stealing cattle and things ain't robbery, it's burglary, says Tom Sawyer. We ain't burglars. We ain't no sort of style. We are highwaymen. We stop stages and carriages on the road with masks on and kill the people and take their watches and money. Must we always kill the people? Oh, certainly it is best. Some authorities think different, but mostly it is considered best to kill them, except some that you bring to the cave here and ransom. Ransom? What's that? I don't know, but that's what they do. I've seen it in books, so of course that's what we've got to do. But how can we do it if we don't know what it is? Why, blame it all. It's in the books. All right. Say, do we kill the women too? Well, Ben Rogers, if I was as ignorant as you, I wouldn't let on. Kill the women? No, nobody ever saw anything like in the books like that. You fetch them to the cave, and you're always polite as pie to them. And by, they fall in love with you and never want to go home anymore. Well, if that's the way, I'm agreed, but I don't take no stock in it. Might as soon we'll have a cave so cluttered up with women and fellows waiting to be ransomed that there won't be no place for the robbers. But go ahead, I ain't got nothing to say. Little Tommy Bonds was asleep now, and when they waked him up, he was scared and cried, and he wanted to go home to his mom, and didn't want to be called a robber anymore. So they made fun of him and called him a crybaby. He said he would go straight and tell all the secrets, but Tom Sawyer gave him 5 cents to keep quiet and said we would all go home and meet next week and rob somebody and kill some people.